Alright, we are playing another session here. Sticking with the 50 and L6 max. We'll let that go. If you're 100 big blinds deep, I'm more tempted to call or 3-bet if I had more stats, but 50 big blinds deep, I don't think we have to play Queen 10 offsuit. Pocket kings. Let's go. Play back at me. Or not. Now if he raises, we will call and then check the turn, hoping to get it all in on literally any turn. We're going to check. Act like we're giving up. I think I'll click it back if he bets. I'm going to check and see. 10 jack would bet. See, 10 jack would call. Yeah, I messed up. That was a pretty clear value bet on the river. His most likely hand is a queen when that 7 comes. So he doesn't have a ton of hands that bet, but I think we get value from a queen. So I think that was a pretty bad check on my part. Yeah, and he does have the queen. So we probably missed about $10 of value there. I think he would look up 10 after I check the turn. Though, see, he doesn't have a, we know he doesn't have a float anymore, because if he was pure bluff floating, he would have bet the turn. We know he doesn't have a 7 to bet. He would probably bet the turn with a 7. And there's not that many 7s in his range. And we're holding almost all the kings. So, definitely a bad river check. Tried to get fancy, tried to get him to do something, but there's just not enough bluffs. And 10 jack, like if he has 10 jack for the open-ended straight draw that got there, he'll call. I mean, he'll bet, but he would obviously always be calling or raising anyway. So we should try and get value from a queen. Yeah, it didn't work out. Lessons learned. Yeah, flop top 2, 120 big blinds deep. Decent card. King queen gets there. Ace queen probably would have re-raised pre. Now a gut shot of 10 jack just got there, but we'll still be betting. 2-3 gets there. I don't expect him to have 2-3. We'll bet 2/3 of the pot. If he raises, be interesting, but I think we'll be calling. It's just hard to imagine him raising without 10 jack. That was nice. 2 premium hands that flopped premium, and the kings was obviously misplayed, but the ace king, I'm curious what he had. Because the only obvious draw got there. He could be calling with a king twice, maybe a weak ace. We're going to take a flop in position. Hope one of these guys comes along. That increases our value if we flop a set. Now, it makes our hand worse when we don't flop a set, because now there's 2 extra cards over here that could have a jack. He c-bets 3 ways, so his hand's starting to look a little bit stronger. How sweet would the 9 of hearts be? Alright, we're definitely not winning this pot. The king just slams his range. I'll keep this one small, try to get to showdown. What does he limp the button with and bet 3 streets? He would raise his aces, right? He'd raise most of his jacks. 4-5? I might pay this off. He just seemed really happy to bet it. Oh, top 2, so he limped ace-jack on the button. Good to know. He seemed really happy to bet that ace. I think that could be a fold. It's just like, in theory, no one limps the button with an ace, and now he's repping the ace. I thought he was repping 4-5 better than the ace. We only had 7 hands on him. I could have noticed he was 38-0, and maybe I could have realized he could have some weird stuff there. Thing is, he's repping the jack the whole way, then the ace comes, and now he's repping the ace. Kind of weird. Now, a flush draw with an ace or a 4-5 make more sense. And just flop the straight over there. But he did have top 2. I would obviously always expect ace-jack to be raising any position, especially the button. show you how it's done right now. Notice how we're not limping. Though it worked out for him, maybe I should. 82 and 9, very wide range. Our hand is very strong on this flop against an 82% calling range. That's actually still pretty strong. I'm going to continue to bet. I will fold to more pressure. Now, if we get to the river, I'll check back and hope to see like a worse ace. But when he check raises here, obviously we have no outs to anything strong. Even for a min raise, we're going to have to give it up. I think our hand is good enough. I'm actually value betting against like lone spades. And various ace highs. Now, a lot of the baby aces actually were there. Ace 7, ace 5, ace 8. Or what was it? 7, 7, 3. Okay, 2, 2, 7. So ace 2, 7, and 5 were already there. So really, you're missing some of those lone aces. And you're actually okay if they stick around because they're drawing very thin. But you can get, you know, people to fold 8 outs, obviously. Like queen, king, queen. Folding there is okay. You win the pot outright. And they folded their equity away where they had 16 or 12% or whatever. So you gain a little bit of value. Here we would have had a pair and a flush draw. Two pair. Pretty strong hand. Down here we completed in the multi-way pot. Flop nothing. We're just going to check fold. This guy loves to call. I love just like ace or king high flop I can get 3 clean streets with. I'm going to see bet 2 overs, backdoor nut straight draw, backdoor nut flush draw. Now this flop actually hits his very super wide range pretty hard. I'm going to call here and be check calling any ace or king river and leading any queen river, which I will do right now since he's pretty loose. So he turned a pair. He had nothing on the flop. He had no draw. He had jack high. So even hitting a 9 wouldn't have paired over the 10. So obviously a terrible flop call on his part. And luckily we kind of went suck, resuck. Got the nuts on the river there. Is he steaming? Now, in theory, he should be 100% committed to the pot. The only reason you should call pre-flop $5 with 16 behind is because you're planning on getting it in on any flop and you have a strong pair type hand. This guy should be committed too if he has any diamond or an over pair like that. Diamond. Darn, I wanted this guy to win for obvious reasons. Did a little set mining down here, didn't turn out. Sometimes I 3-bet that, but in position, I kind of like it when the blinds come along. And when we do flop a set, we have a greater opportunity to win more money. This guy opens pretty wide. We are going to 3-bet him. We have position. King, queen's very strong. It shows that he's never folded to a 3-bet. He's only been 3-bet once. So we'll see how he reacts to this. He reacts by calling. We have a backdoor decent flush draw. We have a gut shot to the nut straight. And he leads pot. So he's pretty well committed. Any raise I make would commit us to the pot with only a gut shot. If he shoved, it would be a disaster. And floating here, these are not good odds for just a gut shot. Even if you think you have good implied odds, the 10 of spades could roll off and you could find out he actually had a flush draw. So we're going to let it go. unfortunately. And he shows that he did that with sixes. Terrible, terrible, terrible play, and it's a terrible thing to show that. That's possibly the worst way to play sixes possible. My range, I essentially had to have king, queen, or 8s, 9s, 10s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, or king, queen for that to work. And the thing is, when he makes that bet, he doesn't know if he's bluffing or value betting. And usually he's going to get burnt, like really, really hard. So I'm very happy to see that. He doesn't like to fold to 3-bets, and he'll just donk full pot with an underpair against a guy who's repping a ton of aces. When you get 3-bet pre, your first thought should be, this guy probably has a pair or a good ace. Maybe king, queen, maybe king, jack suited. I throw those hands in. Queen, jack suited sometimes in position for a 3-bet. But for the most part, it's going to be good aces, good pairs. So he showed it. Maybe he thinks he's bluffing, but he doesn't know. And we like it that way. People doing just kind of ridiculous things is always good for us. I'm going to bump that up in position with a pair. Very surprised to see a taggy player limping the small blind in an unopened pot. Very strange. Tight player, we are going to steal. Now, this tight player actually has only been here for 2 hands. So we don't know if he's actually tight, but king on the button, we know the small blind's probably folding. And that does get through. So that was fortunate for us. And we flop a pair in this smallish pot. And we'll take it down with a c-bet. And we hit a pretty big flop. Put in a little c-bet here. Turn an open-ended straight draw with our flush draw. I think we'll check back. Nah, I'm gonna barrel this. Now, getting check raised, if he has 9-10, would be bad, but we win it outright, so that worked out for us pretty well. So the super tight player clicks it back on us. We'll peel here, fold here. Gut shot to the nuts is not bad. Yeah, we're gonna fold. Sorry, I was thinking about something else. And we're gonna have to fold here, unfortunately. I wanted to draw to that gut shot because it's pretty strong when it comes in.
Alrighty, well, thank you.
Ace 10 suited. 30 31, 13, 0% 3-bet. He opens very wide, so we'll put a little pressure on him. I think we'll 3-bet this one too. It's a little tighter range, so I'm afraid we might get 4-bet over, but I think we win the pot right away somewhat often. And this has gotten out of hand. I'm trying to figure out what he's representing. Opens the button, snap calls. Could be a set, could be some 2 pairs, could be some floats. Yeah, this is a problem. So we just took 2 hits. I assume he's going to be betting almost all of his range here. It's all value, or... Wow, he does have just like a weak showdown hand. Might be ace high. And here we're going to have to fold. There's no hand we can beat. We can't beat a missed straight draw. We can beat like 1 missed flush draw. Oh, pocket ace. That's fine. He played it fine. You don't want to raise that flop. I think he could bet the turn, but if he gets check raised all in on that turn, it's just disgusting. So I think he played it fine. He considered value betting the river, so I give him props for that too, because I think you should consider that. Sick bluff, bro. I think from here, 5-6 suited is a pretty clear open. From this position that I'm in, maybe you could consider folding it. Now we just flopped the world. We're going to bet and shove over a raise. 5-6 of hearts. 5-6 of hearts. Jeez. It's an annoying turn. I'm going to be committed if he shoves. It'll be 12 more into 20-something. Now, if he has 9-10, we're in a world of hurt. Huh. If he doesn't have a 9, this should be a tough call. And he folds right away. So... that worked out. Bummer. Flop top 2, have him almost drawing dead. He had to hit a running flush or a running straight, and he did it. Well, this is kind of unfortunate. I think we're going to call and be committed if it's a king, queen, flush, or straight draw against his stack size. And we whiff everything. I would actually consider jamming it in on this guy pre. If this guy hadn't called. I don't know what this guy's cold calling a 3-bet with, and he only had 50 big blinds, so even after I jam, he might call it off with any pair. And we might find out what he has right here. He should be committed to the pot. He put in a 3 out of 12. So he put in a quarter of his stack already with 2 to come. But apparently he's not. So he made us pay $3 for that. Is he on tilt? He's going crazy. Actually, I will be stealing any 2 against this guy. He's 13 and 8. But with this 24% opener and 16% opener, I don't think we're going to get many opportunities. This guy was pretty aggressive earlier, and I'm going to take this, hoping I end up with position. Now this guy's been 3-betting a couple hands. might actually float this. Problem is this third guy in here worries me a little bit. I'm going to bet at this. I'm more worried about him than him. Yeah. Do I want to represent the flush? Yes, I do. Problem is he can have some flushes. Now, if you're sitting there with queen, jack, no club, this is not a fun spot to be in. So you can get a lot of better hands to fold. He's pretty tight, and he's yet to 3-bet over 40 hands, so we're just going to go to the flop. I don't think we could get it in super profitable against him. Clubs. And that's actually a safe flop for us to get away from. His range should be like ace-king, ace-queen suited, aces, kings, queens. Gosh, after he checks it back, he either has a boat or like nothing, so I might be able to bluff him off a chop here. And if he had ace-king or ace... Now, if he had ace-queen, we had the best hand. If he had ace-king, getting him to fold is, obviously a huge win. We go from just chopping and losing rake to winning the whole pot. I'm also not super afraid of queen jack. I think like most of those hands would c-bet the flop for obvious reasons. Like if you're going to 3-bet queen jack and flop 2 overs with a gut shot on that board, that's almost as good a board as possible to be c-betting. Okay, usually I would not defend with 9-10 offsuit for a 4x, but with all these people in here, we're going to see if we can't flop something big. And 10 high, ace high flop, no draw. No real backdoor unless it comes 7-8, no spades. 29-17, yet to 3-bet. Alright, I guess we'll just call. Against aggressive guys, I would put in another serious raise, but not that time. Yeah, we flop the nuts. We'll see if he'll do some betting for us. Still want to see the board pair. Gosh, that'd be sweet if you had king, queen, or pocket queens. I'm going to time down as if I have a serious decision and then call, which should make him feel pretty good if he's got queens. Please be a 2 on the river. Jeez. Well, we can still win if he's bluffing. When he shoves, he pretty much always has the queen. Queens. Yeah. Jeez. We're holding an ace, man. Come on. That was the one card. I really didn't want the board to pair, but the other card I really didn't want to see for obvious reasons was aces, because it just looks like he has a bare queen. Very frustrating. Very frustrating. When he jams that river, we know the bad news. So this guy who represents as a tag is still continuing to open limp the button. We don't really flop anything, but we'll see bet. We're not going to win this hand at showdown, that's for sure. I'm going to think for a while. I don't want him to think we're just doing what we're doing. Kinda wish that ace hadn't came. He was drawing dead on the turn. 3 outs for the chop. What a great turn. Gave him the straight. You cannot ask for something better than that. Gave him the straight. It's the nut turn. But we chop on the river. There'll be another opportunity later, I'm sure. As a little loosey. Pretty passive post flop. 0% 3-bet. Like it when our C-bets work. Well, this video is at a half hour, so I think we will bail out of these two tables. Don't have to pay any more rake, and obviously we'll play our button. And he's sitting out, so we're going to bail out of this one too. 14-5, pretty tight. Somewhat aggressive post flop. He leads. And we fold. And we'll exit on that note. Probably a break-even session. Not a super exciting video besides that ace-queen. Chopping with queens due to the running. Wasn't really a running straight though. So he had an open ender, so an ace on the turn or river would have chopped it up for us. But what a beautiful turn, and then what a soul-crushing river. But better than losing. Can't complain much. Anyway, thanks for watching.